Someone who can shed more light upon the first topic is our first guest at hand. We have Professor Kevin Curran. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. Good morning, Professor Curran. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Amazing stuff. A real pleasure having you in the studio today. For the benefit of our listeners, Professor Curran is a professor of cybersecurity, executive co-director of the Legal Innovation Centre at Ulster University. He is one of the most interviewed technology experts in the UK with over 2,000 interviews in recent years. Again, a real pleasure having you on the show, Professor. Let's get straight into this. So, what are the biggest moral challenges people face online today?
Yes, of course, the internet can be a force for good, but it can also be a source of evil. Um, and the simplest thing really is the distraction and the disconnection, really, that we only have a certain number of hours each day, and it is so tempting to go online and to go into your own echo chamber, as we say, and to follow link after link, and whether it's news stories or whether it's entertainment or whatever else. So it really is a time thing. It can be such a powerful distraction, really, and that makes it difficult for any of us to focus on different spiritual practices like prayer and meditation, or just quiet reflection, really. That we've never had it so easy, in since man has been on earth. We've never had it so easy to find something that will distract us, or something which can appeal to our many parts of our life, really, and the negative again. That it's also superficial interactions as well online, really, and of course there is temptation and sin. There's a range of temptations. Again, things that we shouldn't look at, gambling, and even harmful content, really. And of course, that leads to spiritual decline in any of our lives, really.
Yeah.
And of course, and if we're constantly seeking external validation as well, so you could just spend too much time online on social media. Again, and really, that's not the realist interactions as well, because we're interacting with the best of people, the fakest of people, really. Again, we're looking at lives that really don't exist in real life, apart from a handful of them, really. But I would say, really, that the biggest moral challenge, really, is distraction. That it is so easy to just click and to go to your sites, to go to your social media, to go to entertainment, whatever else, rather than to pull back again. Because, of course, there's always been worries, again, from anything, even when books were invented.
Yeah.
A lot of people were very scared, within spiritual leaders in different religions were very scared that that would be such a distraction. Again, we forget that there are people out there, especially in the past, who wouldn't play even something like chess, something that we might see as harmless now, and healthy for younger people, again, that anything that pulled people away from learning about God and reading about God was seen as a distraction, but maybe balances. But we've never had such a powerful distraction as we do with the internet.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Really profound stuff you're mentioning there. Especially the bit where you mentioned about validation as well, external validation. How important is external validation in today's day and age?
With young people, it seems to be so important, again, that the older generation, not as much, even though only a liar says he doesn't like external validation. When someone posts something, whether it's on an innocent social media network, whatever else, everyone likes to see all the likes coming in and the comments, replies, and whatever else, and that's just human nature. Everyone wants to feel that everything they say is important, that they have so many people clinging on to their posts and waiting for them to post something amazing, whatever else. But young people definitely go by the followers, go by who they are, especially teenage girls as well.
Yeah.
Young people will actually post, in the past, when the internet and social media was developing, we all worried, 15 years ago, 10, about what our children would post. But actually, those who come from even from good families, especially, of course, they don't post as much as we would have thought. That they're more savvy when it comes to it, and some of them only have a few photos on their Instagram or a few posts here and there. In other words, they tend to take down the posts that don't get enough likes, don't get enough
Yeah.
retweets or whatever else is that. So they actually post not as much, but they can really fall into the thing thinking that, that they're not important if they don't have a lot of followers, if their posts don't get a lot of retweets or replies, really. Whereas
Yeah.
other people, we know that that's not real life,
Yeah.
really. It's simple as that.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Again, really profound, really interesting stuff. So, what simple steps can people take to stay safe and respectful online?
Yeah, there is always a worry, but this inhibition effect again, where people are separate from, because we're physically separated from the internet,
Hmm.
and also it seems at times that there is no police. In the real world, there is a police force, of course, and if you do something wrong, you can be convicted in any society. But when it comes to the internet, people tend to think that there is no police. But of course, there is. There is laws of the land, and people have got into serious trouble in the UK for what they posted again. And sometimes you can post something and it can lie there dormant for months and even years, and until you become a public figure or you're going for your job at a later stage, those posts can reappear. So it's to really, really think before you post anything controversial or anything you can't stand over. When you're posting, just think about, would it pass the grandmother test? Would you say it in front of your grandmother? If you couldn't say it in front of your grandmother or people that you respect, then don't
Yeah.
post it online.
Mm.
And it works well, And a personal thing is funny. Whenever I do interviews,
Hmm.
so I record my interview and then I repost it on the Twitters and the Facebooks,
Yeah.
the LinkedIn, whatever else.
Yeah.
But I took a decision about 6 years ago, and I've stuck by it, and I'll never change it. Never will I post anything personal ever again on social media.
Wow.
Um, and it served me well because it's stopped me from saying things about controversial topics. It stops me at any time. And
Yeah.
because in the past I had this thing in my head. For instance, Facebook would have been kind of the family one, where all my family members, of course, are on Facebook. So I always thought when I was posting images of me, even with my children, that of course my mother will see this, and that's good. I'm doing a good thing and all that. And then it hit me one day that no, if I want to post photographs of my children,
Yeah.
or I want to post photographs of me doing something, thinking that my mother will see it, start a private family WhatsApp group.
Hmm.
And that's where you post it. You post it into, and family WhatsApp groups are excellent. They really are. They
Yeah.
keep families in contact as well. So that's where I should post it, or else I should just get those photos and send them to her directly on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Send them to whoever else is important in my family. Do that without having to do it on social media where it looks good, because I'm also adding to the illusion of life where everything is great, because that's one of the key things I don't post personally online anymore, because I actually have a really good life and I used to travel the world as an influencer, actually.
Hmm.
First class travel, going to great places, meeting people, and it was all about me.
Hmm.
Look at me, look how great I am. Because if I really was honest with myself, I was simply promoting myself. I was making myself look good. But there would have been people seeing those posts who maybe their life is not as good as mine, that they're
Hmm.
struggling. They could be in a bad marriage. They could be, their kids could be failing things, they could be struggling in every other way. And there is me posting the best of me, making myself look good,
Yeah.
where I never posted anything that would show any of the stress in my life, any of the failures in my life.
Hmm.
So really what I'm doing is I'm contributing to the false world.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not a big fan of posting anything really on most social media accounts. Actually, I think people should be more private in general.
Hmm. That was again really profound stuff. Being modest as well. You mentioned in terms of your lifestyle. Um, Finally, how can we use the internet to do good and help others?
Um, yeah, we could build supportive communities, of course. You know, we could use the social media aspect as well to be able to share about events coming up. In that case, of course, we could see it more globally where we could fact check and debunk any misinformation again on social media if you're that inclined. But what I find there is you just get into arguments. It's
Yeah.
very hard to, it's nearly impossible to change someone's mind. But misinformation can be very useful because sometimes something can be posted and you don't know if it's true or not. But if someone comes along and just says, "No, sorry, that's not true. Here is a real link. Here's the other thing," and I do find that useful because if you take a social media site such as X, Twitter in the past, um, well, what we tend to do is we tend to follow the people that we have the similar beliefs with,
Yeah.
and then that's called what we say the echo chamber, where it re-amplifies everything you believe, and you never really change your mind. And I found it useful to follow some people from on certain topics, um, which I might not necessarily agree with, and but at least I'm getting their point of view because you know, if you're someone striving to be truthful in life, to be truthful, which there is no better aim in life. You do want to know the truth. You don't want to go into something which is silly. And I know that there was a topic to do around COVID again, which I found myself going down a way of thinking, and I was getting amplified by everyone I followed. But I started to follow a few accounts which I would have been opposed to, and what I found was that following those accounts brought me back to the truth, brought me back to the middle ground where I wasn't becoming an extremist in one direction. And this was to do with medical information. And I found that really helpful because I could see then that, oh my goodness, yeah, no, that point by that person who I wasn't going to follow is so true. And that I found that I didn't become a kind of a semi-extremist myself. But just allow things to do good and do help. It's probably social media, if you do it properly and have the WhatsApp groups, anything that will bring you closer to your family, bring you closer to God. And if you can find those things online, especially building family, because that is the key to what we do in life, is anything that can help your family, build your family, make you, again, a better person. Again, they're the things to look for
Definitely.
to use online.
Definitely. Professor Curran, I did say it was my last question. However, you mentioned spirituality again, and it just gets me interested. The fact that you're mentioning this. Do you think this has some part to play in spirituality as well? What you do on social media in terms of what you're posting. I mean, you mentioned about people living lavish lifestyles and posting that online. Do you think all of this also has some part to play in spirituality?
Of course, it's like we know that everyone will die, and then comes judgment. So our lives will be replayed to us, every single thing we've ever done. So everything we've done online again will be replayed to us, and again we have to stand over, or not even stand over. It just has to be. So again, of course, there's no such thing as anything being innocent online. Again, we have to be aware that there are human beings who are affected by everything that we do online and everything that we post, and of course, it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That every post will be replayed to us at one stage once we die.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazing stuff, Professor Curran. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really profound stuff. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Again, as I mentioned, really profound stuff that Professor was mentioning, Professor Kevin Curran. One of the things that really kind of um, hit home for me, or really impacted me, or affected me in essence, is the fact that he said create WhatsApp groups with families, and it keeps families together. I mean, it keeps families connected. Sorry, and it just made me think that the Holy Prophet, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has emphasized so much on maintaining family ties. It's really profound. The Holy Prophet, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, has stressed upon this point. That this is almost part of your faith, to maintain family ties. You have to make sure that you're in touch with those family members. Really, really profound, and it makes a lot of sense as well. Instead of posting personal stuff online, create WhatsApp groups with family members from across the world, and then there you have it. I mean, there are ways of using digital media and not spreading personal stuff, not spreading hate as well. Another thing that Professor Curran mentioned that really intrigued me as well is about modesty. He mentioned about how he travelled across the world as well, in essence, an influencer, and potentially posting those pictures he could have. But you don't know what other people are going through. You don't want to belittle those or undermine other people's lives. You don't know what people are going through, and they're just kind of trying to reach a state or a level that maybe is a bit too hard for them. You don't know what people are going through. Being modest is also something that is emphasized in Islam as well, and I mentioned this earlier on as well. Being modest, again, really profound. And just finally, when I mentioned about spirituality as well, it does have an impact of that. But and the fact that he mentioned it as well is again absolutely amazing stuff. Every single thing you post, whether it's a lie or maybe something that might have some sort of exaggeration in it, takes you that one step further. Or even if you post something that is of benefit to other people, maybe it's an inspirational quote, maybe it's a saying of the Holy Prophet, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, or maybe it's a relatable verse of the Holy Quran, it will take you that much closer to your Creator, to God Almighty. And again, some of his final words were that we will be judged at the end of the day, and it is extremely true. Maybe something that you say or something that you post on social media, whether it's correct or incorrect, it might upset or it might hurt the other individual, and then you will be judged upon those. We are going to be judged upon our actions.